the truck's going.
God, I gotta stop this. Okay. Hi guys. Yeah, as you probably noticed, I am dressed up as Batman, and that is because in this video I'll be talking to you about the 3 movies that inspired me to be a filmmaker. And those movies are the Dark Knight Trilogy, Batman Begins, Dark Knight, and Dark Knight Rises. Those 3 films inspired me to be a filmmaker. And I'll be talking to you about them today. Just let me take this off first. Look at that, it's all fucked up. Alright, so let's get started on reviewing Batman Begins, Dark Knight, and Dark Knight Rises. Alright, first off, Batman Begins. Okay, Batman Begins, everybody. Now, Batman Begins came out in 2005. It was a reboot of the Batman franchise, and because we all know that before this, Batman was ruined by Batman and Robin. But 8 years after that, Christopher Nolan decided that he wanted to reboot the Batman franchise because he was a big fan of Batman. And yeah, Christopher Nolan, you all know him. He directed this movie and all 3. And the result of that was an excellent start to a Batman trilogy. And that's another thing. Before this movie, we never had a Batman trilogy. But this trilogy was absolutely excellent. Alright, so anyway, Batman Begins. But what makes this movie so unique is that it did something that no other Batman movie did before. And that is, it told Batman's origin story. In other words, it told how Bruce Wayne became Batman. What he went through. And that origin story is told perfectly well in this through the writing and the acting. The script in this is absolutely excellent. The acting is absolutely flawless. Every single actor in this gives a great performance. And that's what makes it so awesome. And also the directing is superb. And just a perfect start to a Batman trilogy that I think we all wanted. This is the Batman movie we all wanted. Come on, admit it. But even though this is not my favorite of the trilogy, it's still pretty freaking awesome. And everything worked in this movie. Writing, acting, directing, music, everything. So yeah, I will give Batman Begins a freaking epic rating. Right now we move on to Dark Knight. Now, as you know, this is my all-time favorite movie and my favorite of the trilogy. I could watch this movie countless times and I know it by heart. Dark Knight. Just a sequel that tops the original 10 times over, and it paid off. I could talk about for hours how great this movie is. I could. But what makes this trilogy so great is that every single movie is so great yet so different from one another, and that's why it's good. Especially this. The things that stand out in this movie are obviously Heath Ledger's Oscar-winning performance as the Joker. Heath Ledger was the best Joker because he embodied everything that the Joker was, according to the comics. He's psychotic and funny. And Christian Bale is the best Batman because he was more serious than the other pussy Batmans. And he does that growly voice for a reason. To scare criminals and to disguise his identity. I can go on a long rant about how great Bale is as Batman, but still, this movie is excellent. The acting and writing is still strong, incredible even. And to be honest, I think this movie is Oscar-worthy. Or was, but it didn't win anything. It only won Best Supporting Actor. This could have won Best Picture, come on. Because when you really break this movie down, this movie is more than just a superhero movie. It is a modern-day drama with Batman as the main character. And that's why it deserved a Best Picture nomination at least, but it didn't get it. But still, it is excellent. Everything in this movie works. The only tiny flaw I have with this movie is Maggie Gyllenhaal's performance. Her performance was absolutely terrible in this, but other than that, the other actors and the writing, still excellent. The dialogue is excellent. The action is absolutely brilliant. The drama is incredibly sad. And the humor is hilarious. That's what makes this movie awesome. So, I will give Dark Knight friggin' my all-time favorite movie. Yes, that's the highest compliment I can give this movie. Flawless. Alright, now we move on to Dark Knight Rises. Okay, Dark Knight Rises, everybody. Now, I know that a majority of people out there hate Dark Knight Rises, and I do not see why. Seriously, it's ridiculous to hate this movie. I mean, sure, there are flaws in it, but that doesn't mean it's a completely bad movie. It is excellent. This, in my opinion, was the best movie of 2012 because of how much I was looking forward to it, and it paid off extremely well. I went to the midnight show for this, and the midnight show, the line was extremely long, but when we got in there, everybody was cheering, everybody was pumped out of their minds to see this movie, and so was I. And after the movie was over, I said to myself, that was the best way they could possibly have ended the trilogy. And it paid off extremely well. Once again, the writing and acting is incredibly strong in this. And this movie takes place 8 years after Dark Knight. But that's where this movie gets really interesting. It takes place after Dark Knight. And what I really like about that is that every single character from the last two movies has changed dramatically in this movie. Especially Bruce Wayne. When you first see Bruce Wayne in this movie, he's a recluse. He's walking out of CAINE. And I'll admit, when I first saw him, I was like, damn it, Bruce, what happened to you? And what makes Bale's performance in this particular movie epic is that Bruce Wayne in this movie is kind of a lost cause. He has no purpose anymore in this movie, and that's why he hasn't been Batman in those 8 years. But he only becomes Batman again because of Bane is causing more havoc than any other villain did. And also, Tom Hardy as Bane was freaking excellent, an excellent villain. But what makes Tom Hardy unique as Bane is that he was menacing in a physical sense, while Joker was menacing in a mental sense. They're so different villains, but so good at the same time. Even though I think Heath Ledger's Joker is still better. But, yes, this movie's excellent. And also, I have 3 favorite scenes in this movie. 3 favorite scenes. My all-time favorite scene in this movie is the first fight between Batman and Bane. That fight scene was incredibly well choreographed. And when Bane broke Batman's back, I was like, I was incredibly shocked. Yeah. And also, Anne Hathaway was freaking perfect as Catwoman. because she embodied everything that Catwoman was according to the comics as well. She was sexy, she was smart, and she was mysterious, and she was also a double-crosser. And every single actor in this is perfect. Even though this is the last movie in the trilogy, every single actor gives the best performance they ever did for the last movie, and it's perfect. Also, this movie is very, very sad as well. But everything in this movie works. The comedy, the action, the drama, everything. But I do have one problem with the movie, and that is the fact that Bruce Wayne recovered way too quickly from his broken back. Now keep in mind, these movies are set in the real world, so how would Batman be able to recover from a broken back so freaking quickly? That's the only issue I have with the movie. But other than that, excellent, perfect ending to the trilogy. Not as good as the other two, but still great in its own way. So I will give Dark Knight Rises a friggin' epic rating. And also the ending to this movie was just excellent. Alright. That was my review for the Dark Knight trilogy. Let me know if what you thought. Yeah. Basically, the highest compliment I can give these movies is that they inspired me to be a filmmaker. All three of these films are excellent in their own ways, and I can't really think of any other superhero movies like them, and that's why I love them so much. And also, if you're a film fan and you have not seen these, I recommend them 100%. You will love them if you haven't seen them, I promise you. Epicness right here. Okay. So, see you later.